Hello everybody at YouTube, and I am Michael Buckoff, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of the lessons at the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. If any of you guys are interested in improving your academic English language proficiency, if you want a higher TOEFL score, go to my website at onlinetoeflcourse.com. You can learn more about what my services are and how I can help you improve your English abilities. Alright, in this video I'm actually going to work with some of my online TOEFL students who have completed either pronunciation or speaking practice tests. And my first student here, I'm getting ready to talk to him right now.
Lesson 7. Pot, boat. From, grow. Honor, over. Father, thought. Lesson 8. Pat, pot. Map, mop. Tack, talk. And on. Mac, mock. Lesson 9. Bright, brown. Broil, lie. Loud, loyal. Pie, palm. Lesson 9. Lesson 10. Gate, get. Late, let. Mate, met. Plate, plate. Ten, ten. Lesson 11. Meet, met. Pit, pet. Lip, lep. Sit, set. Hit, hit. Lesson 12. Look, luck. Luck, took. Pull, told. Could, cool. Lesson 13. Match, mash. Chip, ship. Feature, fisher. Chafed, chaffed. Cheer, share. Lesson 14. Off, off. Health, have. Fine, fine. Fan, pan. Wafer, wiper. Lesson 15. How, habit. Who, rehash. Behavior, hate. Batman, beaten. Important, brightening. Hat track, threatening. Lesson 16. Major, measure. Fragile, fresher. Legend, lesion. Engine, usher. Large, Asia. Lesson 17. Cake, cake. Sink, sack. Game, game. Cap, cap. Lake, lack. Lesson 18. Lean, rear, better. Luggage, rush, other. Right, light, committed. Lesson 19. Pace, base. Flap, flap. Cap, cap. Lap, lap. Pay, pay. Lesson 20. Lies, lies. Sip, sip. Shoe, soup. Maze, maze. Lisa, Lisa. Lesson 21. Multiple, rubber. Example, pressure. Principle, number. People, philosopher. Lesson 22. Volcanism, Brighton. Maximum, question. Summer, reason. Chasm, often. Lesson 23. Tip, dip. Cart, cart. Tight, tight. Train, drain. Fat, fat. Team, dream. Lesson 24. Sight, sight. Breath, breath. Teeth, teeth. True, thought. Worth, worthy.
Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Jorge, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-Step System to Pass the TOEFL IBT. I am in the middle of listening to your pronunciation pretest. I've been taking down some notes. So you went through the pretest, and part of what I want to do now is to give you some feedback. Here are the lessons that you want to focus on the most. All right, I'll read them out to you. Lesson number 9, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 19, 20, 23, and also lesson number 24. Now, Jorge, what I recommend is go through all of my pronunciation lessons, but practice the ones I just outlined in this email. You want to practice these lessons a little more because these represent the specific vowel and consonant sound you're having trouble with. Remember that each of these lessons represents about a 10 to 15 minute video, which includes some practice exercises near the end, reading some sentences and some paragraphs which target the sounds in that specific lesson. Jorge, I recommend that you read out loud too. Read out loud as you go through these videos and you're trying to imitate the pronunciation of the native speaker in the video, right? Now, let's keep going. I'm going to hear you focus more on part B now.
Part B.
Notice how when you said part B, you said part B. So that's one of the sounds you want to work on is that P. You need to pronounce it with more air. So you'll say part B, not part B.
What is your educational background? Your work history? Well, I already finished my environmental engineering degree.
Okay.
And well, I worked in Bayer. It's a pharmaceutical company.
Okay.
And right now, I'm working on projects about the wastewater treatment and water supply.
All right.
2. What is important for you to improve your speaking and pronunciation abilities?
Okay, now the word you, it's not you, but you're almost saying it with a J, not a Y, but it's you, your, yes.
Of American English. Well, I would like to do my master's next year.
Okay.
I would like to I would like to apply for a master's degree. I have several options.
All right.
Well, first I need to improve my English, and then with my score, I would like to try for those options. And what do you hope to achieve in this course? Well, I would like to achieve a good score, perhaps 90, perhaps.
Okay.
I would like to achieve above 90, and well, I hope I can make it. Lesson 7. But, both. Run, grow.
Okay, good. We got it.
Honor.
Okay, now the next thing I want to do is to give you what's called an intelligibility score. I will include the link to my intelligibility scale so you can learn more about it. So on a scale of 1 to 7, 1 would be a high beginner of American English and 7 is a native speaker. Right now I'm going to put you in the 3 area intermediate level. So I'm going to put you at about 3.6 out of 7. So sometimes when you're speaking a little bit slowly, you're thinking of what you want to say, so you have some pauses and some hesitations in there. You're having some trouble with intonation and also with some of these vowel and consonant sounds I've already outlined in these comments so far. So, work hard, Jorge. Remember that. The more you practice, the better you're going to get. So if you can do many speaking and writing practice tests, it's going to be helpful because then you start getting feedback from me. So my course is only as good as you use it. You have to use my course every day, and I promise you, you will get better. It's just a matter of doing the practice. All right, remember what my rule is. Do not send me more than one speaking and one writing practice test in a 24-hour period. All right, I think we're good. Okay, thank you for completing the pretest. Okay, now I'm going to email him the comments that I just gave him. All right, let's go to the next one here. Okay, we've got Brian. He submitted his over here. I can bypass that one. Here we go. Sarah. Let's listen to hers. Hi there, Sarah, and this is Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer of the 7-step system, to pass the TOEFL IBT, your online TOEFL course. And it looks like you completed a pretest speaking exercise number 41. Let's see what this is. You submitted this Wednesday afternoon.
Many of the sports which the ancient Greeks practiced and which made up a part of their own Olympics still survive in some...
I got it. So you're doing some pronunciation practice here. Now remember, for any given day, keep your recordings limited to about 60 seconds, and that'll make it easier for me to give feedback to all my students. Alrighty. Okay, let me go ahead and find, you're doing some practice with pronunciation, I'm guessing, based on the paragraph that you're sending me. I'm going to go ahead and open up the document and find that paragraph that you are actually using. Okay, let's see. So the key word here, I'm going to say ancient. Okay, let's go back to the beginning here. I'm going to go to Greeks. Got it. I found it. All right, so I'm going to have, let me look at both. Okay, here we go.
Many of the sports which the ancient Greeks practiced and which made up a part of their own Olympics still survive in some way or other in the sports which we practice today.
Okay. Now say that word today, not today, but today. A, you need to make that vowel longer, which we practice today.
The motivation, however, was to practice for war, and it's in such motivation that one can understand the emphasis on martial skills such as wrestling.
You want to say martial. When you have a TI sound in the middle of a word, Sarah, typically you pronounce it as an SH, so martial. Martial skills.
Playing boxing, the javelin, and running.
You say the word javelin, not javelin, but javelin, the javelin.
While still including such less directly applicable sports as discus and jumping.
Okay.
Over time, as interest grew in sport and competition alone, new sports were added, but...
You say that word alone. So there's a pattern here. The longer vowel sounds, typically, Sarah, you're not pronouncing them long enough like native speakers do, so that's something you can work on in the pronunciation area of my course.
But it was these were sports which stood the test of time, and which have...
No, be careful. Which stood the test of time. So with your T consonant, you need to make sure you pronounce that with a little bit more air. So, test time.
Continue to be practiced in similar form right up to the present day. Wrestling must be regarded as the most important sport practiced in ancient Greece. The very name Palestra, wrestling stool, must indicate its importance in Greek life.
Okay.
Nor need we be surprised at this, for all over the world in cultures far distant from each other, one can find styles of wrestling, fighting, for it is a useful skill in war.
Okay.
Wrestling stool must indicate its importance in Greek life.
Okay, so let's take a look at this one. So, it took you approximately a minute and 55 seconds to read this, so I have a feeling you're reading a little bit slowly, so let's do an experiment. I'm going to go ahead and read it. Let's go ahead. Many of the sports which the ancient Greeks practiced and which made up part of their own Olympics still survive in some way or other in the sports which we practice today. Their motivation, however, was for practice for war, and it is in such motivation that one can understand the emphasis on martial skills such as wrestling, boxing, the javelin, and running, while still including such less directly applicable sports as discus and jumping. Over time, as interest in sport and competition, as interest grew in sport and competition alone, new sports were added. But it was these core sports which stood the test of time and which have continued to be practiced in similar form right up to the present day. Wrestling must be regarded as the most important sport practiced in ancient Greece. The very name Palestra, wrestling school, must indicate its importance in Greek life. Nor need we be surprised at this, for all over the world in cultures far distant from each other, one can find styles of wrestling and fighting, for it is a useful skill in war. Okay, hold on a quick second. Okay, so I just read the paragraph in about 70 seconds. So you're reading it in around 1 minute and 55 seconds, so you need to improve that speed a little bit more. So your goal here is when you're doing the practice exercises at my website, make sure if you need to, you can time. How long does it take me to read the paragraph? And then you're trying to read it at roughly the same pace. And that helps get you used to the pace that you need for TOEFL speaking. You see what I'm saying? All right, anyway, thank you for completing that particular practice test. Okay, so I just email her these comments. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, here we go. Say Tracy, speaking, number 3. Let me download this one. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Ji Ying Liu, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. And you've answered, it looks like independent speaking practice test number 3. So what I want to do is to listen. I'm going to go ahead and listen to your specific practice test. So it says, upon your death, what valuable object or material possession would you consider giving to a friend or family member? Why would you want your friend or family member to inherit this object? All right, so let's listen to how you have responded to this question.
I would consider to give a box of my diary to my friends and my...
Now I would say I would consider giving. Usually with consider we use a gerund, not an infinitive. So I would consider giving this to
my family once upon my death. Because I would consider to give a box of my diary to my friends and my family.
Now, friends and family is way too broad because there's no way you can explain all those individual people and then explain why each person should get those diaries. So what I would do is just pick one person and then pick one diary and say, hey, if I did die, I would give my diary to this friend because, and then explain why you would do that. So you need a little bit more specific focus.
Once upon my death.
I would say upon my death, not once on or once upon my death.
Because those diaries record a lot of important events in my life.
Instead of saying because those diaries record, I would say because those diaries have recorded, right? I would probably use their either past or present perfect tense. I think is going to work better than just... Well, you can probably argue that it's a habitual action. I mean, once the diaries record what's happening in my... I guess you could do that because you're using the simple present to talk about something which happens on an ongoing basis. It's more of a habitual action. You probably write in your journal or diary maybe once a week or once a day or something.
For example, I record the day I got an offer letter from the university.
I would say I recorded there. You need to put ED on that for sure because you're talking about something that happened in the past.
And that date is so happy and so meaningful.
And that day was so happy and so meaningful. So when you're talking about actions in the past, sometimes you have a tendency to use present tense verbs. So you want to stop doing that for TOEFL. You want to make sure that you're controlling your verb tenses.
helping me. And the second reason is that because I wrote those diaries, so when they read the words and the letters in there, they can imagine it's me. It's I talking to them and chat with them.
Okay.
I would consider.
All right, let's take a look here. I'm going to go to the rubrics right now and give you a score. So give me just a quick second here. Let me look. Okay, so in this case, I think part of it is your topic development. You didn't really talk about anybody specific, so the question is a friend or family member. That means a specific person, and you weren't really specific at all in that area. So that's a weakness with topic development. Language use, you're having problems with your verb tenses, interesting enough. So you want to make sure that you know how to control your verbs when you're speaking, especially when you're changing your time frame from present to past. Delivery. You're still working on your delivery. You're speaking, you have an accent, right? But the good thing is I can understand pretty much all of what you're saying, even though you have a non-native speaker accent. So I thought you did pretty well in the delivery area. All right. If we look at the rubrics here, I'm going to put you at about 2.3 out of 4, 18 points out of 30 in this practice test. Okay, I'm done with that one. I think that clears out all the speaking from my email. Let me check one more time. Okay, let's take a look here. Where is it? Okay, I'm going to go to my Voxipop discussion group now, and let's see which practice tests. It looks like so far I have at least 4. Let me go on to the previous page, see if there's any others submitted on that page. Got one more. So it's like I have 5. So I'm going to go ahead and do these now. This is speaking number 80. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Meg Delmeda. And give me one quick second. Okay, I'm going to listen to your independent speaking practice test number 80 and to take a look at this one. Okay, what do you enjoy doing more when you have free time? Reading books or watching your favorite television programs? So you say,
when I have a free time, I always prefer reading my books rather than watching television. First of all, I'm a book collector. For example, last year I figured I bought 10 books to keep myself busy during my free times.
okay, let's go back to what you just said. There's something a little bit odd about that.
Book collector. For example, last year I figured I bought 10 books to keep myself busy during my free times.
I figured, I would probably say I estimate instead of past. So you might say, last year I estimate that I bought nearly 5 or 6 books too. I would probably use the word estimate there as opposed to using figure. You're trying to say right now I think that this is how many books I bought last year. So the way you said that was a little bit unnatural, so that's a language use
And I
issue.
target to finish them before the year ends.
Okay.
Therefore, I didn't have enough time to watch television when I was free. Moreover, usually I learn more from books rather than from television. For instance, other day I was watching the news on television and I realized there was a many tragedy being announced for an hour. Therefore, it made me depressed and I went back to my reading practice, which is more constructive for me. Which is why I feel I like reading better.
Wow, constructive. I like that word. A lot of native speakers would not know how to use that. It's more constructive. You're saying it's a more worthwhile activity as opposed to watching TV and then hearing about all the disasters and the death in the world. I just saw on the news even this morning and yesterday, I guess, a huge hurricane. It basically decimated Haiti, and at least 70 people are dead there. So if you're watching the news, you're going to hear about all that stuff. All right, let's take a look here. So delivery, language use, topic development. You're making progress with delivery, as I said. I can understand pretty much everything you're saying. You do have a strong accent. That's it, right? That's the only drawback on that, but I can understand pretty much everything you're saying. Language use, you had a minor issue. I figured that I bought. That was a little bit odd to say it that way. Topic development, I think, was actually pretty good. You had some examples in there to help explain your ideas. So I'm going to put you at about 23 to 24 points out of 30 on this, 3.0 to 3.1 out of 4. So if you didn't get a score 4 on this task, it's probably because of some minor delivery and language use issues. Okay, what do we have? Done with that one. That was number 80. What else do we have to do here? let's listen to this one. This is a pronunciation practice from Brian. Let's see what he's doing. So the students will go into the pronunciation section of my course. I got 48 videos, and they'll go in there and they'll take different practice exercises. Then they post them for me, and I give them feedback. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Brian. How's it going, buddy? Now, I'm going to listen to, it looks like Speak Clearly lesson number 11, voice recording exercise number 1. All right, so let's listen. Let me just see what some keywords are, and I'm going to find this lesson.
In this situation, you...
Okay, got it. Here it is. I think I found it. Okay, now okay, I'm kind of bringing up both screens right now. Okay, here we go.
recognize that your teacher has a desire to be respected. In 1970,
Let me check your pronunciation of the word
your
T.
teacher has a desire to be respected.
Okay, here we go.
In this situation, you recognize that your teacher has a desire to be respected.
Pretty close. So teacher, you're almost there with that sound. So just pronounce it with a little bit more air. Teacher. Your teacher has a desire to be more respected.
In 1978, the United States Supreme Court declared marriage to be of fundamental importance to all individuals.
A little bit of trouble with your pausing there. Let me read it with you. In 1978, the United States Supreme Court declared marriage to be of fundamental importance to all individuals. So you had a little bit of trouble with your grouping and phrasing there.
And the plane uses jet engines, or even appropriate in some cases, to move
You had trouble with the word uses, as the plane uses jet engines, not uses, but uses.
itself for war, air rushes by the wind.
Okay?
The pilot must increase engine power, which increases thrust, which increases let's over gain, and make this drop in altitude manual.
Yeah, remember the word thus. Thus making this drop in altitude manual. So you did better with the word power. Pilot, you need to pronounce the P with a little bit more air, but you're getting there. You're remembering, you're trying to remember to pronounce your P's with more aspiration.
Anyone who can read and write can improve the efficiency of their memory.
All right, good. Good job on that. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, this is independent speaking number 26. Okay, let's listen to this one. Give me 1 second. Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Joy, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. So you're answering independent speaking practice test number 26. So your friends are the most important influence in your life. Use details and examples to explain your position. All right, here we go.
I disagree with the statement that your friends are the most important influence in your life. Personally, I don't move with the crowd. I do what benefits me, not my friends. So, for example, all my friends in high school ended up being drug addicts. None of them influenced me. None of them influenced my choice of career or influenced who I ended up being. Today, I am a medical doctor practicing in the United States. None of my friends influenced me. Rather, my parents influenced me.
Okay, let's go back to the beginning. Now, if you go back to the question, you had a little bit of trouble rephrasing the idea. It says, do you agree or disagree your friends are the most important influence in your life? So I would say, well, I agree or disagree with the statement that friends are the most important influence in one's life or in a person's life. So I wouldn't use you or your in these particular speaking tasks. So when you're taking a sentence and you want to paraphrase it, a lot of times you have to change the pronouns that are actually used in that sentence to make it fit the purpose of your speaking task. So you didn't really do that. All right, let's keep going.
I disagree with the statement that your friends are the most important influence in your life.
So that friends are the most important influence in a person's life, or even in my life, you could say.
Personally, I don't move with the crowd. I do what benefits me, not my friends. So, for example, all my friends in high school ended up being drug addicts.
Yeah, this is terrible. All of them, some of them, many of them, all of them is a very strong statement. Now, but I have no idea what the truth is behind it. But if you say all of your friends ended up being drug addicts, that means 100% of them. Now, if you said many of them or some of them, it would change the meaning a little bit, right? So I'm just checking to make sure that that is the meaning that you intend there, because you want to be careful you're not using what's called overgeneralizations. I could say when I was in high school that some of the students that I knew in high school used drugs. I can't even say many of them did. I certainly cannot say all of them did. But I don't know your specific situation.
None of them influenced me. None of them influenced my choice of career or influenced who I ended up being. Today, I am a medical doctor practicing in the United States. None of my friends.
So today I ended up being a medical doctor practicing in, when you say the United States, United States, you need to make that vowel sound longer than what you're doing.
Influenced me. Rather, my parents influenced me.
Okay, so you bring up your parents influenced you, but you don't say how. So if you bring up that idea, you pretty much have to give some kind of supporting example to help back it up, and that ends up giving you a little bit of a stronger argument there. So maybe it would have been better that you left that last point kind of out of this speaking task because you didn't really develop it. So that would be, that's kind of a comment I'm giving you with your topic development. So on this one, I don't know, I'm going to say some weaknesses with topic development. However, you answered the question, no doubt, right? So you did that. I think you had pretty good control of your language use. And wait a minute, we go back to topic development. And you did give, I like the example that you gave. You talked about your friends from high school, whatever, and you talked about the fact that they did drugs and stuff, but that did not influence you, and you went on, as you explained, to become a medical doctor here in the United States. You have a good story, by the way. Your story is fantastic. I love to hear this kind of a story, where you've come out of a difficult situation and you're very successful. You're living the American dream, right? That's what I'm talking about. That's what you're doing right now. You came from another country, you're here in the United States, now you are a doctor. Doctors make tons of money. You kidding me? So I imagine you're very, very successful. So anyway, with your TOEFL speaking, with what you just did here, I'm going to put you at about 2.6 out of 4, 20 points out of 30 on this practice test. Yeah, what's going on, Brian? This is Michael, and I am listening to, it looks like you completed independent speaking practice test number 4. So let's go ahead and take a look at this question. So it says, if you were to move to another city, which city would you choose? All right, so you say,
if I were to move to another city in my country, I would choose Cusco, which is located in Peru, because it has a clean air and it has some beautiful places, one of them, very famous, Machu Picchu. First of all,
you're from Peru. I didn't know that. Wow, cool. Yeah, Machu Picchu, everybody knows about that. If I could go down there, that would be the first thing I would see in Peru, is the Machu Picchu, that area. I heard that's really, really pretty and very high up in the mountains, right?
the city where I live is crowded and has pollution air due to a lot of traffic. But on the other hand, Cusco is a city where the air is cleaner and you can breathe this kind of fresh air. Second of all, Machu Picchu is a wonderful place located in Cusco, and this city, which was built by the Incas, has amazing structures of rock. As a result, it has been an attractive place for the tourists. Since Cusco has clean air, less traffic, and beautiful places, I would choose Cusco if I were to move.
Good. I like how you tie everything in at the end there. So that was a very nice organization. Let me listen to it one more time.
If I were to move to another city in my country, I would choose Cusco, which is located in Peru, because it has a clean air and it has some beautiful places, one of them, very famous, Machu Picchu. First of all, the city where I live is crowded and has pollution air due to a lot of traffic. But on the other hand, Cusco is a city where the air is cleaner and you can breathe this kind of fresh air.
I wouldn't say you can. I will be able to breathe fresh air if I live in Cusco. So keep everything framed around your point of view, the I, me, my point of view, not that you or your point of view.
Second of all, Machu Picchu is a wonderful place located in Cusco, and this city, which was built by the Incas, has amazing structures of rock. As a result, it has been an attractive place for the tourists.
I would just say it has been. I would say it is an attractive place for tourists. So I think there, Brian, the simple present is a better choice than the present perfect, I think. You're talking about something which is true now, and it's something that happens on a regular basis. Tourists visit Cusco probably every week of every year.
Since Cusco has clean air, the traffic, and beautiful places, I would choose Cusco if I were to move.
All right. Okay, so at the very end there, you had some minor issues maybe with language use. For example, differentiating between the simple present and the present perfect tense, so maybe a minor issue with that. But overall, I thought you had pretty good control of your vocabulary and your grammar. You had good topic development, I think, so that was good. And not too many serious problems with delivery. Now, could you get a score of 4 on this? Interesting. I'm going to say maybe not. You had some minor issues in there that might bring it down toward the 3 area. So I'm going to put you to about 3.0 to 3.1 out of 4, 23 to 24 points out of 30 on this practice test.